Hi, I'm Rob Hilliker. I'm the library director at the Hotchkiss School in Lakeville, Connecticut, and I chose The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. If you've read this series, you know it's just a really fascinating, fantastical world that deals with a lot of philosophical issues, but through the lens of growing up. And so I think for that reason it's been controversial because anything that has to do with growing up seems to be that way for folks. But anyways, I'm going to read a passage from chapter 17. Lyra moaned and trembled uncontrollably, just as if she'd been pulled out of the water so cold that her heart had nearly frozen. Pantalaimon simply lay against her bare skin, inside her clothes, loving her back to herself, but aware all the time of Mrs. Coulter, busy preparing a drink of something, and most of all of the golden monkey, whose hard little fingers had run swiftly over Lyra's body when only Pantalaimon could have noticed, and who had felt around her wrist the oilskin pouch with its contents. "Sit up, dear, and drink this," said Mrs. Coulter, and her gentle arm slipped around Lyra's back and lifted her. Lyra clenched herself, but relaxed almost at once as Pantalaimon thought to her, "We're only safe as long as we pretend." She opened her eyes and found what they'd been containing tears, and to her surprise and shame she sobbed and sobbed. Mrs. Coulter made sympathetic sounds and put the drink into the monkey's hands while she mopped Lyra's eyes with a scented handkerchief. "Cry as much as you need to, darling," said that soft voice, and Lyra determined to stop as soon as she possibly could. She struggled to hold back the tears, pressed her lips together, choked down the sobs that still shook her chest. Pantalaimon played the same game. Fool them, fool them. He became a mouse and crept away from Lyra's hand to sniff timidly at the drink in the monkey's clutch. It was an infusion of chamomile, nothing more. He crept back to Lyra's shoulder and whispered, "Drink it." She sat up and took the hot cup in both hands, alternately sipping and blowing to cool it. She kept her eyes down. She must pretend harder than she'd ever done in her life. "Lyra, darling," Mrs. Coulter murmured, stroking her hair, "I thought we'd lost you forever. What happened? Did you get lost? Did someone take you out of the flat?" "Yes," Lyra whispered. "Who was it, dear?" "A man and a woman." "Guests at the party?" "I think so. They said you needed something that was downstairs, and I went to get it, and they grabbed hold of me and took me in a car somewhere. But when they stopped, I ran out quick and dodged away, and they never caught me. But I didn't know where I was." Another sob shook her briefly, but they were weaker now, and she could pretend this one was caused by her story. "And I just wandered about trying to find my way back, only these gobblers caught me, and they put me in a van with some other kids and took me somewhere, a big building, I don't know where it was." With every second that went past, every sentence she spoke, she felt a little strength flowing back. And now that she was doing something difficult and familiar and never quite predictable, namely lying, she felt a sort of mastery again, the same sense of complexity and control that the alethiometer gave her.